in our OpenHPI course, Confidential Communication in the Internet. Now we want shortly have a look to potential for damage. Cybercrime. Cybercrime is a huge problem in the Internet, in the World Wide Web. And I mentioned only a few of the statistics. There are different studies, there are different reports. Often it is very difficult to detect such cybercrime attacks in the Internet because the people are not aware. The victims are not aware that their data were stolen or that the data were manipulated or that the data were theft. They are not aware that someone uploaded malware on their computer to get a backdoor or to be able to break in. So Symantec is an important security company, a world famous company, which give yearly internet security threat reports. And they mentioned that 7.7% of web requests lead to malware. So if you attend a website, then without being aware of that, malware is uploaded to your computer. 55% of all emails in 2017 were spam. More than the half of all the huge number of emails were completely useless spam mail. Cisco also gives annual cybersecurity reports. And in this report, they reported that 53% of the attacks resulted in damages of more than $500,000 US. Other statistic, the statistic reported by the Internet Crime Compliance Center, counted more than 300,000 attacks with a total loss of almost $1.5 billion US. And you see it is increasing. You see it's not increasing in this way, it's increasing more in that way, which depends that the systems become more and more secure, more effective. Antivirus programs are installed. Other security machinery were installed in the Internet, but it is a huge number of attacks that every year happens in the Internet. Let me mention some of the very popular cyber attacks in the Internet. It's only a few, but it shows a great variety of such attacks. So 1999, the Melissa virus run around the world, and it causes 300 million damage. 150,000 systems were infected, and they were infected in only 4 days. So in a very fast way, this viruses spread over the Internet and cause huge amount of damage on many systems. And famous cyber attack in the year 2020 were the I Love You virus. The I Love You virus caused more than 10 billion US dollar damage, and it was able to cause this damage within only 24 hours. 500,000 systems were infected. In August 2003, Zobic.F virus. It damages companies with more than 29 billion damage. So there was shutdowns, entire network systems of vendors and companies. So it was really very popular and in all countries that discussed cyber attack. Another such cyber attack was in October 2009. It was a huge phishing attack. So reports speak of more than 20,000 compromised accounts from various email providers, including such famous providers like Yahoo, AOL, Comcast, Earthlink, and Gmail. Phishing is to send an email that asks the user to do something, to log in to something, or to send data, credential data or secret data in order to repair something or to provide some help. So the attacker have many fantasy to convince the people to do some activity that helps them to collect their data. Another such cyber attack was in June 2010. It was a Stuxnet attack. This was an APT. APTs are the most dangerous attacks, the advanced persistent attacks, the advanced persistent threat attacks. And with this Stuxnet, the industrial software from Siemens was attacked. In this way, the work of machinery was infected. And with this Stuxnet virus, the Iran nuclear factories were infected, and damage was created with the idea to slow down the Iran's nuclear program. Another attack in June 2000, or two other famous attacks in June 2011. On the one side, the compromise of the certification authority DigiNotar and Comodo for issuing forged certificates. In our course, we speak about certificates. Certificates are something like a passport for moving in the internet and proving that's me. And if the hacker, so this was really danger, are able to issue forged certificates, all the security system breaks down. Lulzsec stole 1 million records. This was another attack from 2011. 1 million records from Sony, user data from Sony. They attacked the American government sites and websites of MasterCard and Visa. Another attack was very popular and discussed was from April 2012. Gaussian flame malware disrupts computer systems on all platforms in the Middle East. Particularly, they were acting against the oil companies. So the idea was that such kind of attack also got the support of some governments. September 2012, two malware programs appear with trusted signatures from Adobe. So it looked like that this malware is a useful program coming from Adobe because Adobe has signed it, but in reality it was malware. So the people that trust Adobe installed that program, and in this way they installed malware on the system and opened the door for continued attacks by the cyber criminals. In June 2013, Edward Snowden reveals a huge NSA surveillance program to globally monitor communication via the internet. So all what was sent become visible, and here is exactly what we want to discuss in our course, how we can prevent that even if the messages became visible and got in other hands, that the content becomes not possible to access. February 2015, Kaspersky reports a digital bank robbery. Since 2013, $1 billion have been stolen from 100 banks and other financial institutions by means of such cyber attacks. And it goes on and goes on. In August 2016, the shadow brokers, they have stolen several tools and vulnerability information from NSA systems. This vulnerability information of any kind of software or hardware system in the hand of the hacker helps them to design exploits, to misuse, to design strategies for misusing these vulnerabilities. And this were what the NSA collected were vulnerabilities that were not known, so-called zero-day knowledge. NSA has kept this information secret because they eventually want to use this vulnerability for their own purposes. And so it was really a problem that now a criminal attacker had this information in their hand. In the year 2016, also in November, there was an attack. About 1 million routers broke due to unsuccessful attacks by the Mirai botnet. They crashed down, but this was good that they crashed down, so the people become aware of this attack. So it was unsuccessful, so it caused the damage, the breakdown, but it was unsuccessful because the idea of the hacker was to be able to steal the data from the routers, and nobody should be aware of that. This Mirai network include more than 500,000 compromised IoT devices. And in most cases, because these IoT devices were lazily installed. They use the devices didn't configure the default data when the system was delivered. It was not updated and other problems. And May 2017, I want to mention the WannaCry ransomware. The WannaCry ransomware, which infected 230,000 computers in 150 countries worldwide. And the idea of this malware, of this ransomware, is to encrypt the data on the computers, on the devices of the victims, and then to offer to decrypt the data when the victims pay money to them. It's not clear whether one can trust. So many people paid a lot and the data were not decrypted. In other cases, the attackers decrypt the data, make it readable for the people after getting the money. So all these are attacks in the internet. In the last years, 2018, there were an example of a famous journalist, Jeff Bezos, and there were a hack of Jeff Bezos' telephone. He was an interested target because an owner of Amazon and a Washington Post. So of course this person has a lot of information, a lot of activities. So what the hackers want to get, they want to get access to all his communication. So the hack most probably was through a WhatsApp video which received from Saudi Crown Prince on the smartphone from Jeff Bezos. So it was a big scandal and discussion that even such person are victims and are victims of that cyber attacks and are not able to secure themselves in the right way. From this year, 2020, the project Rubicon, the Swiss company, sold encryption devices to several governments. And afterward it was found out that the encryption could be broken due to a backdoor that was installed in the task of the CIA or in combination with BND. And this agreement went back until to the 19th last century. So this encryption software, which was by many companies and which was considered to have a tool, a powerful tool to secure information, was insecure by this backdoor. So you see, there is damage over damage. This were, what I mentioned, were only a few very popular examples. In any case, what I want to do with this is to sensibilize you, to see there is a lot of problems. And when we speak in our course about confidential communication, it should be a motivation that some of these hacks would not be possible if the data are encrypted in the right way, if the confidentiality is provided. But this is only one aspect. There are many different aspects, and we will consider them in later courses.